Good evening. Oh, excuse me. Good evening. Good evening. It is 7 o'clock. This is Dr. King. Today we are going to be addressing, I apologize. I've had someone calling me right as this was starting. But this is Dr. King. It is a cold, wet, not necessarily messy, but cold, wet day in Dallas, Texas, DFW Metroplex, Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Several wrecks, so my heart goes out to people, to, prayers and everything out to people. There have been several wrecks in the last 24 hours, and I'm not exactly sure how many I'm going to have on here tonight, but hey, regardless to whether it's one or a million, I'm going to give a wonderful presentation. Tonight, we're going to be discussing being happy is on you. And seriously, that's what it is. Being happy is on you. And so let's go ahead and get started. Hey, Makia. I have an internet connection unstable. I'm not really sure if that's coming from the weather. Hey, Sister Thompson. All right, we're just getting started. I was just saying, the weather's kind of ugly today in the DFW Metroplex, trying to get everything going. If there's some buffering, when the weather is bad, the internet is spotty at best. But everything's going right now. But we'll go ahead and get started. Being happy is on you. And as always, I introduce myself, and I am tonight's presenter. Hold on, ladies. I'm trying to move some boxes around. I'm your presenter, and who is Dr. King? As always, I'm a wife and a mother, 34-year resident of Duncanville, Texas, and I've lived in the 800 Link community for 18 years. How did I become Dr. King? I have a high school diploma from Duncanville High School, an associate's degree from Health Central College, a bachelor's degree from UT Permian Basin, a master's degree from University of Phoenix, and a doctoral degree from North Central University. And then, are you happy, Dr. King? Absolutely. Tonight's discussion is on about being happy. So I asked, am I happy? Yes, I am. Even with all the crazy weather, it's going. I had posted the link for you ladies at the top. I'll repost it. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't forget. I was going to see if anybody had posted any questions. And so who is this presentation for? This presentation is for anyone seeking happiness and who wants to understand that true lasting happiness comes intrinsically, which is from inside, and not always from extrinsic forces, in other case, from others and things. That doesn't mean others can't, have a contributing factor in making you happy, but you got to learn how to make yourself happy as well. And what TI Communities Pillars does this presentation focus on? This week, we are focusing on health and wellness. Because when you're not happy, unhappiness tends to make you sick. It can make your body sick. So this is a health and wellness topic, and as always, education. So my question to ponder, and this is our poll everywhere question for this evening. Do you feel that your being happy is solely your responsibility? Hold on, ladies. Give me just a second, because I did not post a poll everywhere link to y'all. My apologies. It'll give me just a little bit. It's not going to take me long. Y'all can see my poll everywhere page. I'm still sharing my screen. I forgot to copy the link so you ladies could answer the question. My bad. Well, it's not going to take long though. I just have to get there we go. Oh, let me put it in the chat box for you. Okay, this is the poll everywhere link. So click on that to be able to answer. And let me go back into presentation mode. There we are. Can everybody click on that and open it up? So your question is, do you feel that your being happy is solely your responsibility, or is it the responsibility of others? And I didn't do a yes, no, where you can click. I want you ladies to actually type it. Do you feel that it's somebody else's responsibility to make you happy, or is it yours? Is that link working? If not, let me, where is my, okay, the link is working. Okay. I was about to say, if not, I can type the one that's up at the top. And so I'll let you ladies think on that. And like I said, it wasn't a yes, no question. I mean, you can put yes or no, but I want you to actually think about that and type, you know, yes, I feel that way. No, I don't. However you want to answer it. But do you feel that your being happy is your responsibility, or is it the responsibility of others to make you happy? And so while y'all do that, I'm going to move on and we'll come back to that. We'll definitely have time to very long presentation this evening. That's my child tells me. And so what is the definition of happy or happiness? Happy is characterized by or indicative of pleasure, contentment, or joy. And happiness is the quality or state of being happy. So if you're happy, ecstatic, you know, excited, laughing, those are all things that have to do with being happy or experiencing happiness. And synonyms of happy are being cheerful, contented, delighted, ecstatic, elated, glad, joyful. There was at least 30 of them I could have put on there, but I didn't want to list them all. But those are all the things, you know, of being happy. If you're happy, you know you're happy. Just like if you're not happy, you know you're not happy. So what you want to be is happy. I'm setting my timer, ladies. My apologies. I forgot to start my timer. What you want to be is happy. You don't want to, you know, in other words, you don't want to be dependent on someone else to make you happy. You have to learn how to make yourself happy. And with everything else that comes along with me, I know how to make myself happy as well. I was an only child for 18 years. I know how to pretty much have fun by myself. I mean, I love having a brother and sister, but for 18 years, it was just me. So, you know, I learned how to make myself happy and entertain myself. It's not a big deal, to be honest. And what is the definition of internal happiness? Internal happiness is the happiness that is not dependent on external factors in your life. And those external factors could be a significant other, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever, best friends, families, brother, sister, mom, dad, cousins, uncles, aunts, or a job. You know, you don't want, like I said, it's not so much that you don't want others to have a role in making you happy, because you also don't want to be around people that drive you nuts and stress you out. But when we're talking true internal happiness, that comes from you, that comes from inside. You know, I tell you all the time, my confidence is through the roof. You know, I'm very good at making, entertaining myself is what I'm trying to say. I was about to say making myself happy, which is the same thing. You know, but, and I guess, you know, depending on your life, you know, if you have brothers and sisters and stuff like that, when you're used to being around a lot of people, you know, you don't necessarily have to rely on yourself, because there are other people around you, you know, that can sometimes compensate when you're not happy. But like I said, I was an only child. So I had, you know, for 18 years. So I had to learn how to be happy and be content with myself, entertain myself when I can't hang out with my friends. And I learned how to do that. And so I learned internal happiness at a younger age because I had no choice. I was by myself, you know, and like my daughter, she's an only child. Her, you know, some of her friends are only children. But when you grow up in a family, when you got a bunch of brothers and sisters, you know, internal happiness, sometimes I think for some of those people can be a little hard to do because they're used to being around other people. There's always somebody around, you know, so they're not to depend on themselves. And so happiness is tied to emotional cues, you know, and that's within yourself or others. Understand the things that and people who make you happy, and spend more time with those things and people. Spend time with people that make you feel good about yourself. Spend time doing the things that make you feel good about yourself, that make you feel challenged, that make you feel accomplished, people that support you, people that, you know, make you happy, people that are not, you know, bringing you down, stressing you out, situations that are not upsetting you, like the second one. Understand the things that and people who upset you, and try your best to stay away from them as much as possible. You can't always stay away from certain situations and people who stress you out and make you mad and make you upset, because sometimes that can be on your job, you know, or some, you know, a co-worker or a significant other or a friend. You know, it's just, when you do this, make sure that you're more happy than you are sad, or more happy than you're upset, because, you know, yin and yang, we got to experience both. But you have to understand where your emotional cues, where your triggers are. And when you learn to keep yourself happy, you learn to put yourself in situations where you're not stressed out, where somebody's not upsetting you, where somebody's words excuse me, are not angering you, you know, or causing you not to feel your best. You have to understand what those cues are and what they aren't. You know, who's stressing you out, what's stressing you out, and you learn to stay away from those people or stay away from those situations unless you have to. You know, and then another thing, happiness can be tied to goal fulfillment. All of this has to do with self-esteem and self-confidence. So accomplishing personal and professional goals stacks happiness on top of happiness. And it leaves little room for unhappy things and people to occupy your time. When you are working on fulfilling your goals, you have no time to deal with foolishness. You know, and you will learn that what they call, I'm a good person about the whole respecting my time and respecting resources and respecting others. You learn when you start to mature personally and professionally, you learn people and things that you just do not devote resources to. And in this point, in this significant example, your resource would be time. You don't give time to people and things that annoy you. That's basically the bottom line. When you are working on yourself and doing things and working on goals, you know, you trying to buy a car, or trying to finish up your senior year in high school, or trying to finish up a degree, the one thing that you do not have time for is foolishness. So when you're working on yourself, that leaves little room for things and people that'll make you unhappy and stress you out, and you won't even entertain them. You'll learn how to remove yourself from those situations. You know, when people get on your nerves, you know, you don't even have to say anything to them. I'm real good about that. Get on my nerves, I'm gonna leave the room. It has been wonderful talking to you. I love you. Bye-bye. You know, it just is what it is. And when you're doing that, celebrate the little successes just like you would the big accomplishments. A lot of people we tend not to focus so much on the little steps that took for us to get that big thing. Like school is a big thing. Every good grade you make, every assignment that you make a good grade, a passing grade on, but not necessarily just a passing grade, but a good grade. And to me, good grades are B's and A's. You know, C's, okay, whatever. I like B's and A's, particularly A's. When you make A's and B's, celebrate those. You know, because don't just worry about your final grade at the end of the semester or the end of the school year. Celebrate every good passing grade, because guess what? That gives you motivation to keep going and to keep doing the next assignment. Hey, I got an A on this one. Maybe I can get an A on that one. Celebrate the little success, the big ones. Now, granted, you're not going to go all out just for making one A, but you will if you make an A for the semester, right? Or you will if you make an A for the whole school year. So yes, you're still going to have your big accomplishments, your big celebrations, but don't just ignore the small ones. You know, say you're trying to clean up your credit. Everything that you knock off your credit that raises your credit score, celebrate that. You know, losing weight. Every time you lose inches, don't just worry about pounds, because I mean, I say that for myself as well. I get mad when I get, you know, I've been working out hard for 2 or 3 weeks and I get on the scale and I still weigh the same. Wait, what? You know, but I might measure myself and realize that I've lost some inches. I may not have lost pounds, but I've lost some inches. So it's kind of hard, you know, and it is hard sometimes. It's just like that. You like, Dr. King, I lost 2 inches and I've been working out for 3 weeks. Been there, done that. But guess what? I could have gained some inches and not lost anything at all after working out for 2 or 3 weeks. So it's all in how you look at it, right? So, you know, I try to celebrate all successes, because that keeps me motivated. That keeps me happy. It pushes me to keep going. And when you're doing that, you don't have time for foolishness. So know your cues, know what things and people you enjoy that make you happy, that push you to be your best, that brings the best out of you, and then know the ones that are just the opposite and stress you out and get on your nerves, annoy you and don't bring the best. Sometimes, you know, you have things and people that don't bring the best side out of you. We all know them. We all have them, you know, so it's kind of like you have to know, and you have to be able to balance, you know, things that make you happy and know what you need to do in situations that do not. And so moving on with that, how can you find your inner happiness? Number one, learn to recognize that you can choose to be happy at any time. It's, you know, you'll read so much that always says, it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to it. I mean, some people that just lay eyes on them would make me want to choke them. It is what it is. There are some things in some people, when I see them, they just make my day wonderfully happy. It is what it is. So you learn to recognize that you can choose to be happy at any time. And when you feel yourself getting unhappy, you have to make the choices to get out of that situation to make yourself happy. Get up and go in another room. You know, if you're at somebody's house and somebody shows up and you don't want to be bothered with that person, then just don't talk to that person. If something happens and you don't want to be there, but people, I mean, there's just all kinds of situations that we can talk about when learning to choose to be happy. The point is, know what makes you unhappy and try as quickly and as soon as you can to get out of that situation to go back to being happy. Then realize that you deserve to be happy. That all comes with self-confidence, self-awareness, self-esteem, raising all those self things. Remember the whole presentation I did on self? Realize that you deserve to be happy. Nobody's happiness is more important than yours. That doesn't mean that someone else can be happy. That just means that you deserve to be happy just like they do. It may not necessarily be the same situation, but you deserve the same happiness everybody else has in life. You know, we're going to all go through things. We're going to all experience things. And, you know, I tell my best friend all the time, sometimes I get a little leery because things be going too well. And I'm like, something is going to happen because nothing has happened in a minute. And I mean, you know, there, you know, you got your highs and your lows, you know, and, you know, it's kind of creepy because you be like, okay, I've gone 2, 3, 4 months and everything has been going wonderful. That is a setup. It's just life. You know, that's just me. You know, it's not that I'm looking for something, but when you go through life, you learn ups and downs. And when things are going too happy for too long, you're like, okay, something's about to happen, you know, but you just realize that you deserve to be happy. Then develop your self-awareness. Know your triggers. If you know nothing else about yourself, you need to know what triggers you to be happy, what triggers you to get upset, what things and situations annoy you, what things and situations make you happy, what you can do for yourself to make you happy when you're upset. You know, take a bath, get a mani-pedi done, go get your hair done. Those are things that you have to be. Nobody should know you more than you know yourself. Now, when you get into relationships and, you know, you have really good friends and best friends and things like that, your friends and your significant others and parents and sisters and brothers, depending on how close y'all are, they will get to know you. And sometimes, you know, they may know you better than you know yourself. That happens, you know, but you still have to know about yourself. Nobody should be able to tell you something, but that all comes from being honest with yourself, right? Even the bad stuff. You know, my best friend tells me the truth. You know, sometimes it makes me mad, but I would love her if she didn't. You know, so self-awareness. You have to know about yourself. What triggers you to do whatever? Know those things. So when things happen, you know how to respond. Like they say, foresight. I'm a real big person of being proactive. You know, I'm very good at being proactive in a lot of different things. You know, life sometimes it's hard to be proactive with certain things in life when it comes to yourself because you just don't know. All you do is try to be proactive, but still some things will happen because you get blindsided sometimes. But there are certain things that you can be proactive and have plans A through Z in place for. And this is one of those things. When you are self-aware and know your triggers and know what makes you happy, makes you upset, all of that is about being aware. That gives you foresight to have a plan in place. You go somewhere and you know somebody gonna be there that you don't like, you better have a plan in place. If you plan on being happy while you're there, because what you don't want to do is allow that person being there and you seeing them to cause you to not have fun and enjoy your time. You can just say, hey, okay, I know they here, whatever. I just, you know, they speak, hey, it's all outdoors, but hey, do what you gotta do. But you don't allow things to cause you not to enjoy life. You know, there are going to be things, there are going to be people that when they happen and when you see them, it's just going to change your whole mood. Those are things that whole mood change, that's what you have to have a plan for. How are you going to respond? It's not the fact that that person is in the room. It's how you are going to respond to that person. I've seen people completely lose their mind because somebody made them upset. Now, granted, there are some things that will cause that, but you got to have a plan in place. Like I said, sometimes you'll get blindsided and that's unavoidable. But if you know something is going to happen, like you're going somewhere, you're going to be in a meeting or, you know, there are just different things that you can foresee. And because you know that, then make sure that you have to combat that. Know your triggers. Focus on your self-esteem and do not focus on things and people that do not matter. And there are plenty things and people that do not matter. The CEO of used to be Braniff. What is it now? Southwest Airlines. I go all the way back to Braniff. But the CEO of Southwest Airlines, name starts with a K. I forgot his name. He passed away a couple of years ago. He always said, don't sweat the small things, and everything are small things. That's kind of the logic that I have here. Focus on your own self-esteem and do not focus on things and other people that do not matter. Don't sweat the small stuff, and everything is small stuff. There are very few things in life that are really big, major things. Most things become major issues because we respond to them in a negative way. Foresight, all about maturity. And once again, these presentations are all self-help for me as well. You know, I'm still growing as long as I'm growing. So there are things that I have to learn. There are certain people that just really annoy me. It just is what it is. And I have to learn that when I walk into a room with them, I already have to know what I have to have my plan in place. What am I going to say and what am I going to do if this person gets on my nerves? And a lot of times I just have to learn to shut up. Don't say anything. But, you know, focus on your self-esteem. Focus on things that make you happy. Focus on hyping yourself up. Remember, being a hype person for yourself. Know the things that you need to do to hype yourself up. Stand in the mirror. Girl, you are the bomb. Because I do. My child laughs at me all the time. I tell y'all, she thinks I am funny. She tell me every day, Mama, something's wrong with you. It is. You know, I just don't rely on other people to make me happy and boost my self-esteem. Now, if somebody's trying to make me happy, by all means, do so. I love it. Keep it going. But if it just doesn't, or if it stops, my whole world doesn't fall apart. You know, everybody can't be everything to you 100% of the time. As long as they're trying 90 or above, go with that, because everybody has their own stuff going on. So you got to learn how to work on your own self-esteem. And, you know, for all intents and purposes, make yourself happy. Hey, Tori, how are you? You know, but so you focus on your own self-esteem and do not focus on things or people that do not matter. And then number 5, embrace a positive mindset. Remember, when you can or think you can't, you are correct. Your brain does not know fact from fiction. You do, but your brain doesn't. Whatever you tell your brain about yourself, that is what your brain is going to believe. So if you do nothing, like they say, when you talk to a plant, how a plant just grows and grows and grows, and a lot of it's biological, it's the CO2 and everything that's in your breath. But at the end of the day, you know, talking to a plant makes it grow. Well, guess what happens if you would talk to yourself in a positive manner? And it's talking to a plant in a positive manner. Somebody actually did a study on that. If you talk negatively and talk, you know, just negative words to a plant, it doesn't grow as fast as it does when you're talking positive language to a plant. You know, hey, little planty, how you doing? You know, somebody actually did a study on that. When you talk positively to a plant, it actually grows faster than if you're talking negative to it. Same thing with yourself. Embrace a positive mindset about yourself. Don't worry about what somebody else thinks about you. Somebody is going to always have something to say. Care about what you say about yourself. You know, and when you positive with yourself, guess what? Other people around you see that, and it tends to rub off on your friends and family. So embrace a positive mindset about yourself. Try to see the positive in other things. You know, everything is about mindset, about how we see things. You know, some people can see, you know, two people can look at the same situation and see it 2 different ways. The point is to try to have a positive mindset, because it kind of, you know, you look at a negative situation and say something negative. Now, granted, that's tend to be what we do, but it doesn't make anything better. The point is, how do we make the situation better or fix it? That's where having a positive mindset comes in. So it's not always about you. It's even how you view situations. You know, there are situations that happen where you just want to say, you know, but at the end of the day, try to think positive. How can we fix this? Okay, this has happened. What's the solution? Because steady focusing on what happened does not fix the solution, doesn't make it better, doesn't give any resolutions. So have a positive mindset about yourself and about other things. And sometimes being positive means you still have to remove yourself or somebody else from a situation. It just depends on what it is. Number 6, do not allow yourself to be bothered by minor inconveniences. Once again, don't sweat the small stuff, and just about everything is small stuff. Do not allow yourself to be bothered by minor inconveniences. They happen. They're going to be their stuff that at the end of the day does it. You know, I read something the other day and it says, if you die tomorrow, would this that you're upset about really matter? And that's kind of how I learned to look at things. You know, if I woke up dead tomorrow, yeah, you heard me. If I woke up dead tomorrow, if something, you know, was it really for me to get upset about something today? That's kind of how I've started looking at things. So I try not to get upset about things. Now, granted, I will still say something, you know, and I will still have an opinion, but a lot of times there are things that I tell people all the time, there's a stark difference between Bridget Tarpley and Dr. King, way Grand Canyon difference apart than who those two women are. And I've learned so much not always to bring Bridget Tarpley out unless she has to come out. I'm more Dr. King. You know, it's what works for me. It is what Dr. King is the nice and calm one. Bridget Tarpley, not so much. Number 7, know when to remove yourself from foolishness. Know your cues. Develop your self-awareness. Know your triggers. You know, you have to know what it is about situations that annoy you. Hey, Tori, that annoy you. You have to know what it is about things, about people, about your job that annoys you. Some things you can't get, you know, if you're at work and the person that works next to you in a cubicle next to you, you know, they're sitting there and they get on your nerves and you got 8 hours a day. You just got to learn how to deal with that, you know, because a lot of times your jobs, you know, your boss is not going to move you because the person next to you get on your nerves. You just have to learn to deal with that, you know, for whatever. But there are situations that when you are in a certain situation that you can truly remove yourself from. Do that. Don't just allow something to annoy you, make you mad. Don't do that. Just if you have the means of exactly, Tori, remove yourself and keep it moving. If you have the means of doing that, do that. Now, granted, there are some situations that's harder than others to do that. But if it's not, and you know there's a situation where you're about to blow up, remove yourself from that situation. And once again, understand your self-awareness, your triggers, you know, positive mindset. Figure out, okay, this has happened. How do I fix it? What do we do to fix this? You know, some people always say, I'm over it. That's a mental thing. I'm over it, because when you say you're over something, you're ready to move forward. You're ready to figure this out situation, find a solution, keep moving forward. You know, so you'll hear a lot of people, I hear a lot of people say I'm over it. I tend to use that now too, because once I say I'm done with something, I'm pretty much am. I've moved on to something else, you know. And then number 8, no, it is not the sole responsibility of anyone to make you happy. We all know that. Even when you're in a relationship or you get married or whatever, and we always say, you know, people get mad, you know, my husband didn't tell me I looked pretty today, or my wife didn't tell me I looked handsome today. Okay, she didn't tell you, but there was nothing about him, you know, or you that you couldn't get in the mirror and say, you are the absolute flyest bomb, whatever today. Girl, look at you. Bruh, do that. Do that. Do that. Y'all don't understand how much that helps. When you don't, and I'm not saying that my life is such that nobody gives me accolades and stuff like that. You know, I have wonderful family and friends. It's awesome. It's not their job to make me feel good all the time. If my husband does something nice for me, awesome. Thank you. I love you, baby. Thank you. My best friend does something nice for me. Thank you. Thank you. My daughter, hey, mom, I love that, but it is not their jobs 100% of the time to tell me what I need to be told to make me feel good about myself. It's not. It's nobody's job. It is not your job 100% of the time. You are responsible for your happiness. Somebody else wanting to make you happy, that is wonderful. Because once again, in life, we all make decisions on what we want to do. Like I read something the other day that said, when a man is happy, he will want to call you. He will want to call you and see how your day is going. When a woman is happy to be with you, she will make an effort. They will make it. The point is they will make an effort. But that doesn't mean that 100% of the time they are responsible for making you happy. That just means that there is something about you that makes them think about you, that at some point or several times throughout their day, they want to call you and see how you're doing. Have you eaten? Like they say, sometimes saying I love you says, have you eaten today? You know, so it's not somebody's sole responsibility but yours to make you happy. Learn to do things for yourself. Learn to take yourself out to dinner, take yourself out to lunch, take yourself to the liquor store. Learn how to cook dinner for yourself. Learn how to whatever it is, but do things that make you happy to where you are self-aware. Number 3, develop your self-awareness. Know the things that you need to do for yourself to make yourself happy. So when there is not someone else around that can give you those accolades, you can still get them from yourself. Tori said, I be in the mirror like I'm beautiful, educated, strong, and fearless. It's not like you are, Tori. That's what you are. You are a beautiful, educated, strong, and fearless Black woman. Period. Not like. That's what you are. All of you. Sierra, Tori, Sister Thompson, Sheila, we are all beautiful, educated, strong, fearless Black women. Not like that. That's what we are. And when you tell yourself that all the time, guess what? That's what you're feeding your brain. That's what you're telling yourself. And whether you think you are, you are. If you think you're not, you're not. Your brain doesn't know any difference. So why not tell your brain what it is? You are the bomb, girl. I'm going to pass this assignment. That's why I try to tell my students, don't think that you're going to fail an assignment, because the point that you think that you failed something, you've already put that out in the universe. Just tell yourself this is a challenging assignment or test, and it may be hard, but I'm still going to pass. Everything is about the way you view it. It's about perception. And making yourself happy is another one of those things that's about perception. If you do everything possible to make yourself happy, guess what you will be? Like some people say, you know, every time they go around somebody, they just negative. Well, guess what? That's because they just think negative thoughts all the time. And because it oozes out of them like lava, you know, so you have to say the right things to yourself and be honest. Don't lie to yourself. Though I tell people all the time, like they say, I'd rather take a thief over a liar, because at least with a thief, you know what you're getting. With, you know, don't lie to yourself. It's one thing to start being honest and then work yourself up. Now, you know, if your self-esteem is low, say that. Start with, hey, my self-esteem is low. Tori, what are you doing? Start with, my self-esteem is low, and then, you know, then work on yourself. Start with the self-awareness, start with the self-esteem. But if your self-esteem is low, then you can't start with my self-esteem, my confidence is through the roof, because that's not true. Can your confidence get to the roof and get through the atmosphere or stratosphere? Yes, but you got to be honest with where you're starting from. I haven't always been the most self-confident person that I am. You know, it took years, but I've had to learn for myself, working on my degrees. I was a psychology major. I knew if I wanted to change certain things about myself, I had to start working on myself. That's the only way. I couldn't rely and depend on other people to do that for me. I had to do that for myself. And now I try to do it with other people. And it's just, for 30 something years, this is who I am. You know, well, I ain't gonna say 30. I got my degree at 28. Okay, and I'm 49, so 21 years. You know, it helps when you learn how to positively talk to yourself. And so a summary, told you ladies, this wasn't gonna be long tonight. The summary is, happiness is defined as indicative of pleasure, contentment, or joy. Internal happiness is the happiness that is not dependent on external factors in your life. Happiness is tied to emotional cues. Remember, you have to know good things, what things are good for you and what things are bad for you, and how you emotionally respond to those things. You have to know that. Happiness can be tied to goal fulfillment. When you are working on yourself and trying to achieve goals, you don't have time for foolishness. Learn to recognize that you can choose to be happy. You can choose to be happy. You can choose to be sad. When you're in a situation where you're sad, remove yourself and put yourself in a situation where your happiness returns. You know, realize that you deserve to be happy. That's the main thing. You have to know. Don't allow somebody's words about you to make you believe that, especially when they're negative. Nobody should be able to speak nothing negative about you. You know, now there are some things in life that, you know, there are actions and behaviors that we may do as negative. But when we're not even talking about that. We're not factoring in that. That's a specific circumstance. I'm saying, don't allow somebody to talk down to you and make you feel like you're less than. No, that person gotta go, or you gotta remove yourself from that person. Learn to recognize, develop your self-awareness and self-esteem. You have to know what makes you happy. You have to know what situations, what things about life, what is your purpose. It all comes back to purpose. When you're working on yourself and developing and increasing your self-awareness, your self-esteem, your self-confidence, you start to figure out what your purpose is. And once you figure out your purpose and then mix it with those, it's hard to not be happy. Like they say, when you start doing what you want to do, it's no longer a job, it's a career. It's no longer about the money. It's about doing what you love to do. When you're doing what you love to do, when you're working on yourself, the outcome is the same. It's not monetarily, but the happiness, the what am I trying to say? That feeling of elation. That's what I'm saying. That all comes over you when you are increasing you, when you are bettering yourself. Do not focus on things that do not matter, that does not matter. There are some things that you got to say, you know what? It ain't even worth it. If I was to die tomorrow, is it really worth me being upset about this now? Probably not. There are very few things that being upset about, you'll wake up tomorrow still upset. There are some things, but for the most part, like I said, don't sweat the small stuff, and just about everything is small stuff. There's very few things that are major things. And then others can make you happy, but it is not their sole job to make you happy. We just had a whole conversation on that. References, as always. Oh, let's go back to, ladies. Hold on. We forgot to go back here. So now we're back on the question. Who was late? Tori was late. Sheila, did you? I'd already started. Makia saw it. Sierra saw it. Ms. Thompson saw it. So the question to ponder. And the link, somebody repost the link in the chat box so Sheila and Tori can see it. So, because I want everybody to answer this question. Do you feel that your being happy is solely your responsibility, or is it the responsibility of others? Is it your responsibility to make yourself happy? I'm telling you it is, but do you feel that way? Once again, be honest with yourself. Do you feel that your being happy is solely your responsibility, or is your being happy the responsibility for others to do? What do y'all think? Is it? Tori say it's her responsibility to make herself happy. What you think, Sheila? Where'd Sheila go?
Hey, we thought it was good.
Sheila may not even be in her.
We thought it was good.
Oh, that's Noelle. I'm like, who is that? Anyway, all right. So everybody said they feel like it is their own responsibility to make themselves happy. That's good. And once again, if you don't feel that way because nobody has ever, made you understand about happiness, that's fine. Be honest with yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. Just be honest with yourself. Okay, there we go. Let me get back to the slide that we're supposed to be at. And ladies, nobody realized, but remember last week I told y'all this was supposed to be the presentation on the ethics of life. I was in the middle of getting my ethics of life presentation for this week, because that's what I told y'all last week. This week's presentation was supposed to be on, and looked into the didn't pay attention, just like whoever set the schedule for TI communities didn't realize that we were all looking at the wrong date. This was my presentation for the night, so like 98% of my way of finishing my ethics presentation for next week. I realized that being happy is on you was my presentation for this week. So I had to get started on this one and get this one done. So next week, does anybody have any questions? If you do, type them in the box. So here we are again next week, the 18th. And next week's presentation will start at 7:30 and not 7 o'clock, because I have a meeting with the university for Sierra next week. So it's from 5 to 7. So I pushed my presentation to start and go from 7:30 to 8:30. So the ethics of life will start next Thursday night at 7:30 on Zoom. And I'll send everybody the link on Wednesday. I stopped sending the link so early because it'll get lost in your emails. Y'all getting 20, 30, 40, 100,000 emails a day. So I'm trying to send them to where the link, the Zoom link is at the top in your inbox instead of you having to scroll through and find it. So I'll send the link out on this either next Wednesday or early Thursday. So it'll be there at the top when you log in. But just know that next Thursday's presentation on the ethics of life is going to be from 7:30 to 8:30, because I have a meeting from 5 to 7. Then as with anything, and nobody leave, did Makia leave already? Oh man, nobody leave because I got to take everybody's picture, and I'm gonna do that when I come out of here, so I have everybody in the box. Actually, let me do it here. I'll just do it this way. I always lose Makia. Okay, I have everybody's picture. But I always know if you need to contact me, call, text, email, 800Educator@Bridget@TICommunities.com or Facebook.com/ Dr. Bridget M. King, EDD. And that is the end of that presentation. Let me get the poll anywhere. How's everybody doing in this weather? It's actually worse than the post-event survey. I'm sorry, y'all. I was like, poll everywhere. I know y'all are actually getting worse weather than we're getting. I mean, we had, from this time last night till tonight, 24 hours, they've had 5 pileups. They had 3 really bad wrecks on 287 last night. They had that 100+ car pileup on 35 in Fort Worth today. Apparently there was a later pileup around 10 or 11 o'clock that was on 30 out by Bass Pro Shop out there by the Joint Reserve Base somewhere early today. So there's been some really bad wrecks in the area today. Schools closed today, schools closed tomorrow. They're already out of school on Monday. So the kids all have a 5-day weekend starting today, you know, and working from home is a good thing because that means my car never has to move. I just got to go to the store tomorrow because it's supposed to, what we're getting. I saw and read 2 to 5 inches of snow, and then was looking at the news and they said 3 to 7 inches of snow from Sunday into Monday. Then weather is supposed to be good Tuesday, and then it's supposed to sleet again on Wednesday. I'm like, oh, good Lord. So if you haven't been to the store, go, because we are getting some serious weather right now. But I'm going in the morning. I was going to go early and realized I had my presentation. Then my husband said the lines, they only had 3. Mark said there were only 3 registers open, and the lines were all the way to the back of the stores. I was like, no. I'll get up in the morning and go before, you know, kids are not at school. There should be no reason for people to be up unless they're going to work. So I'll get up in the morning and go to the store. But I pray that everybody is safe. Stay at home if you can. If you have to go to work, drive carefully. I'm praying for everybody. You know, I don't care what you have to do. Just walking outside, be careful, because they said, like they said with that wreck, that pile up, they hit black ice is what it was. It was just like they said, they were driving along and all of a sudden you hit a patch of black ice, you lose control, you can't steer in black ice because you're on ice, your wheels, there's no traction. So they were just all slamming into each other, and every time another car comes, the cars in the front are steady getting pushed, you know. So people have lost their lives and people have gotten hurt. So be careful when you're out, even just walking, not just driving, but walking, because black ice is dangerous, you know. And so with that, I'm going to say good evening. I know it's cold. I know y'all want to be up under the fireplace, in front of the fireplaces and up under your cover, because I do. So love you all. There's the survey. If you want to get it done, if there's any topics you want me to cover, put it in the survey. I'm going to the store in the morning too, Tori. I was going to go tonight, but no. After Mark said it was too many people at the store, and you know me, I'm still, you know, in my mind, the stores are still Corona Central. So no, I don't like being in the store when there are a bunch of people in there. So I'll get up and go in the morning when there's a lot less people. And like I said, there's no kids going to school, so there shouldn't be very many people out in the morning. But y'all be safe. I love y'all. Hope to see you next Thursday at 7:30. I'm doing presentations every Thursday unless something changes or I have to take a day off, because, you know, we only do 4 a month. But love you, ladies. See you next week, and stay warm.